Imagine owning a product so valuable that merchants cross deserts for it, governments tax it, criminals smuggle it, cities build their fortunes around it, wars are fought over it, entire economies depend on it. Now imagine that same product sitting on your kitchen table, ignored by almost everyone. It sounds impossible. How can something so ordinary become one of the greatest wealth generators in history? Why would people risk their lives transporting it across scorching deserts and dangerous seas? Why would rulers obsess over controlling it? Why would businesses compete fiercely for access to it? The answer reveals a forgotten industry that quietly created enormous fortunes long before oil, banking, or modern corporations existed. To understand why, we need to travel back to a world where wealth had a problem, a very expensive problem. Imagine you're a fisherman. After a long day at sea, your boat returns overflowing with fish. For a moment, it feels like success. Your family can eat. You can sell the surplus. Money is finally within reach. Then time begins its attack. Hours pass. The fish start to spoil. Tomorrow, even more will be lost. Soon, much of your hard-earned wealth simply disappears. The same thing happens to hunters, farmers, merchants. Across the ancient world, valuable food constantly decays before it can be consumed, traded, or transported. People aren't just losing meals. They're losing wealth. Every spoiled shipment represents lost income. Every ruined harvest represents lost opportunity. Entire economies struggle against an invisible enemy that destroys value every single day. For centuries, this problem limits growth. Villages remain small. Trade remains local. Wealth remains fragile. Then something changes. People discover a simple substance capable of slowing this destruction. Suddenly, food lasts longer. Traders travel farther. Communities store supplies for difficult seasons. What once disappeared in days can now survive for weeks or months. At first, it seems like a practical solution. But practical solutions to enormous problems often become extraordinary businesses. Demand begins to grow. Then it explodes. Families need it. Farmers need it. Sailors need it. Traders need it. Armies need it. Almost everyone depends on it. Merchants quickly realize they are no longer selling a product. They are selling security, stability, survival. And businesses built around necessities are often far more profitable than businesses built around luxury. A wealthy customer might choose not to buy jewelry. They might delay purchasing expensive decorations, but they cannot ignore something essential to daily life. Demand remains constant. Demand remains reliable. Demand remains profitable. Soon, ambitious traders see an opportunity. Caravans loaded with valuable cargo begin crossing deserts. Ships carry it across dangerous waters. Trade routes expand, markets grow, profits increase, fortunes appear. Some merchants become wealthy, others become incredibly wealthy. Then they discover something even more powerful. The largest fortunes are not always made by producing valuable products. They are often made by controlling access to them. Cities located along major trade routes suddenly find themselves in a remarkable position. Every merchant passing through creates opportunity. Every shipment generates revenue. Warehouses multiply. Markets expand. Businesses flourish. Money pours in. Some cities become rich not because they possess gold mines or vast empires. They become rich because they sit between supply and demand. They control movement. They control access. And every transaction leaves wealth behind. Eventually, governments notice. They see merchants becoming rich. They see cities prospering. They see demand remaining strong year after year. A realization spreads among rulers. If everyone needs this commodity, controlling it could generate enormous revenue. Taxes appear. Regulations emerge. Monopolies are established. What began as a practical solution evolves into one of the most profitable industries on Earth. Governments collect fortunes. Infrastructure is funded. Armies are supplied. Political power grows stronger. Entire economies become connected to a single commodity. At its peak, the business becomes astonishingly valuable. Control production and you control wealth. Control transportation and you control commerce. Control taxation and you control revenue. The stakes become so high that access to this commodity influences the rise and fall of powerful states. Fortunes are built upon it. Cities thrive because of it. Governments depend on it. For centuries, it remains one of the most important economic forces in the world. And yet the most surprising part of this story is what the commodity actually was. It wasn't gold, it wasn't silver, it wasn't silk, it wasn't spices, it wasn't precious gems, it was salt. the same salt sitting quietly in kitchens around the world today. A substance so common that most people never think about it. A substance so cheap that spilling it barely matters. Yet for centuries, it helped power trade networks, enrich merchants, support governments, and create immense fortunes. History often hides its greatest wealth stories inside ordinary objects, because value is not determined by how impressive something looks. Value is determined by how badly people need it. And for much of human history, few things were more valuable than a handful of salt. Eventually, technology changed the rules. Better transportation reduced costs. New preservation methods emerged. Industrial production increased supply. The extraordinary advantage that once made salt indispensable slowly disappeared. The industry survived, but the incredible fortunes faded. What was once one of the world's most important commodities became one of its most common. But the lesson remains as powerful as ever. The greatest fortunes are rarely built on what people admire. They are built on what people need. Gold attracts attention. Diamonds attract desire. Luxury attracts headlines. Yet again and again, history shows that the biggest wealth often comes from controlling necessities. And for centuries, few necessities generated more wealth than a simple handful of salt.